Welcome to our Prospector Market Update webinar. I'm Ron Wilstein, a broker at Keller Williams Luxury Properties here in Park City, Utah. I'm going to share with you three things today. Give you a quick update on the Park City real estate market, then look specifically at sales and prices in the Prospector neighborhood, and then finally I want to tell you about an upcoming change to the flood zone mapping by the federal government, which will impact the Prospector area. So let's hop right into our topics for today. First, beginning by looking at the Park City real estate market in terms of sales. Over the past 12 months, there's been 1,377 sales. This consists of homes, condominiums, and vacant land. This is all real estate brokerages combined. And this is up 59 sales or 4% from a year ago. This graph here breaks down homes, condos, and lot sales, comparing with the red bars the period of August 2016 through July 2017. With that same 12-month period the year before depicted by the silver bars. We notice here that homes are up in terms of number of sales, climbing from 491 sales to 555 sales, a nice 13% increase, showing the strength of our single-family home market. The condo market slightly down 1%, dropping from 652 sales to 643 sales. It's only a 9-sale decrease year over year. We can see that adjustment just from month-to-month comparisons. And then lot sales are actually up 2%, climbing from 175 sales to 179. We simply don't have that many lot sales in the Park City area. That's why there's so few here overall. But let's turn our attention to price, because everyone wants to know what's happening with property values. And the good news is they continue to go up. Here we're looking at home medium sold prices, and this time I've broken it into the Park City neighborhood and Snyderville Basin, which is the county area of Park City. You'll notice, and you really have to sit back here and look at it, that the appreciation rate in the single-family homes inside the city limits is up 31%. That's year over year, climbing from a medium sold price of $1,532,500 all the way up to the 2 million mark, 31% year over year. That's just incredible. In the Snyderville Basin, we see a slight decrease, 1%, dropping from $958,000 to $951,950. It's really about a $6,000 difference. And if you were comparing this year, monthly year over year comparisons, you'd see it fluctuate anywhere from down 1 or 2% to up 6 or 8%. Just so happens that during this 12-month comparison, it's actually down, but overall that market is up. Here we're looking at condo medium sold prices in the city limits. They've risen by 11% from $632,750 all the way to the $705,000 mark, so it broke the $700,000 number. In the Snyderville Basin, a very healthy 15% increase, with prices rising from $425,000 all the way up to $490,000. Now we're looking at vacant land, and a 10% increase within the city limits, with the median price climbing to $737,000 from the previous year, $667,000, and then a 5% increase among the lots in the Snyderville Basin, with the median sold price rising from $415,750 all the way up to $437,500. So that's what's happening overall in the Park City real estate market. Now let's turn our attention to Prospector in the Prospector neighborhood. Home sales in Prospector year-over-year comparison are up 80% in terms of number of sales. Now specifically what we're looking at is 9 sales over the last 12-month period. Previous 12-month period before that there were only 5. So it's an 80% increase, clearly showing that there's strength in the Prospector market. People want to buy homes there. Whenever we look at sales, we like to look at absorption rate. And what absorption rate is, it is the rate of sales that we project into the future based upon the past. In other words, we'll look back at the last 12-month period, see how many properties have sold at what pace, and based upon the current inventory of properties available in Prospector, we'll project into the future. Prospector homes have been selling at a pace of 1 sale every 41 days, which is very, very strong. It's not uncommon to see 1 sale every 90 days, but that's strong for Prospector. Currently, there are 4 homes on the market in the Prospector neighborhood, which equates to a 5-month inventory. Now, the National Association of Realtors says that a balanced marketplace, in other words, equal number of buyers and sellers, is about a 6-month inventory. In resort towns like Park City, a balanced market is a 9-month inventory. So when we're seeing 5-month, that favors the sellers. Homes have been selling between a range of $450,000 on the low end all the way up to $1,180,000 in Prospector, giving us a medium sold price of $825,000, and that is up 2% from the previous year's medium sold price, which was $808,000. So price is rising consistently in Prospector, and the number of homes being sold nice and strong. There have not been any lot sales in Prospector over the last year. There's currently 1 lot on the market, and so the lot activity is minimum, but with only 1 on the market, and that one that is on the market is priced quite high. We're just not seeing any sales there. Now, I've summarized homes and lot sales activity in the Prospector area. If you'd like the specific details that makes up these summaries, in other words, which homes, what did they look like, what were their distinct characteristics, you can send me an email at ron@thewilsteinteam.com, and I'm happy to send you that information and get that to you. I also want to take this moment to let you know how you can get information about the Prospector market whenever you wish. We typically do these webinars about every 6 months, but you don't have to wait for the next webinar. You simply want to bookmark in your computer BuyParkCityRealEstate.com/prospector, and you can simply request the information. So let me take you to that real quickly. Here we're looking at BuyParkCityRealEstate.com/prospector, and on this page you'll see some details about Prospector. Then you go a little bit lower and you've got these 4 buttons here. The green button represents, well, you click on that, it will change colors, and it says watch a webinar for the market update on the Prospector area. In effect, that's what you're doing right now. This blue button to the right of it says send me current sales data on the Prospector area. That's what you'd want to click. So you just go onto that, you click it real quickly. That will change the page to this page which says current sales data requests. Simply fill out the top portion and then your contact information, and if you have specific questions as to the marketplace, or Ron, send me homes that sold in Prospector, or anything you want, put that in the comment section, push the green button. That will come to me, and then I will get you that information, and you'll be good to go. Finally, I want to turn our attention to some changes regarding the flood zone. And the reason I want to take this time during our Prospector neighborhood webinar is because it impacts the Prospector neighborhood. The key question that people want to ask is your property located in a flood zone? And if it does, what does that mean? If your Park City property is located in a flood zone, your lender will require that you obtain flood insurance to get a mortgage. Now, if you own your property all cash and you have no mortgage, then there is no lender, there's not going to be that request. But if you are trying to purchase a property, that flood insurance could be a requirement. Even if your lender does not require flood insurance, there's 3 good reasons why you may want to have flood insurance. We'll talk about those in a moment. The key question is your property in a flood zone? We're taking the time to talk about this because FEMA is right now revising the National Flood Hazard Layer, and that impacts the Park City area. This aerial image here is of a portion of the Prospector area, and you'll notice 2 different colors. It's kind of that yellow shade, and then there's the bluish shade. The blue shade represents the flood zone area, and depending upon whether your home is in that area or just your lot impacts whether flood insurance will be required. Important thing to realize is they're in the process of reclassifying this, so over the next month or 2 we will probably have the preliminary results of the reclassification. We'll be able to find out whether you're impacted. There's basically 4 possible scenarios as it pertains to your property. Either you're not in the flood zone, and that's great news, you don't have to think about it any longer, or you're in the flood zone and you're going to stay in the flood zone, and if that's your situation, you're probably well aware that you're in the flood zone. You may be a property owner who was in the flood zone, but now you're being removed from it, and that's good because then if you have flood insurance, you can actually cancel it. It's no longer required. or you were not in the flood zone, but now you're going into the flood zone. Now, the reason why this is an important topic is because this affects the cost of flood insurance. The cost of flood insurance can vary. There is a category, there's numerous categories or zones that FEMA assigns to properties with regard to the flood zone. Zone X classification is the least expensive price for flood insurance. It could be $400 or $500 a year. A different zone classification could be $1,300 a year, even over $3,000 a year. So there's really quite a difference. It could be 3 to 6 times less if you're in Zone X. Now, the reason why that's important is if you have flood insurance and you sell your property, you can transfer that discounted flood insurance, if it's applicable to your situation, to the buyer. So it doesn't start over the buyer, even though it's a new buyer and they would have to get flood insurance if your property is impacted by this. If you have a discounted rate, they can get that and it be assigned. And if it represents a couple $1,000s over a number of years, well, now we have something to negotiate when it comes to negotiating the best price for you as a seller. So it's actually very important. I want to share with you 3 good reasons to keep your flood insurance. Number 1, it will give you peace of mind. That's what insurance does. It helps us sleep at night because tomorrow is often uncertain, things that you don't expect happen. Secondly, you'll have insurance coverage if you need it. Whether your property is in a flood zone or not, Prospector has underground streams that flow underneath properties that are not in a flood zone, but it doesn't mean that from time to time they don't see evidence of water right underneath their property. So it's good to have flood insurance. Thirdly, it's a benefit when you go to sell your home in the future. Now, why is this important? It's important because the flood zone remapping is underway. It's expected to be completed as early as August 2017. That's the month that we're actually doing this webinar that I'm recording right now. And once they come out with their preliminary identification as to who is in the flood zone, there will be an appeal process that will be 90 days. So you'll want to know, number 1, whether you're in the zone or not, and then if you are, you have 90 days to appeal it. After all appeals have been heard and resolved, an effective date will be determined for it to kick into play and be imposed, requiring flood insurance. There's a lot more to this, but I don't want to take the time here to cover it, but I have recorded a webinar with Benita Vandekoy, who is a State Farm insurance agent, and she's an expert at flood insurance and how this new flood zoning will impact you. So if you want to watch that webinar, just go to BuyParkCityRealEstate.com/PC flood zone, and you'll get about a 20-minute presentation. Benita's great. She, as I said, she is a broker with State Farm Insurance Companies in Park City, 25 years of experience extensively with flood insurance and the ongoing changes that impact homeowners. So take the time to find out if your property is likely to be in a flood zone, because we go into greater detail on the map, and she's available and will answer any questions if you watch that webinar and have some regarding your property. So let me just conclude here by saying if you want to learn how much your Prospector home is worth in today's market, it's very easy. Go to our website, BuyParkCityRealEstate.com, and scroll down to learn what your property is worth and complete the section, and that will be sent to me, or you can simply send an email. Let me pop that up for you to see. Here's BuyParkCityRealEstate.com. This is the main landing page. Scroll down past, start your Park City search. Go past some of the properties we've listed in our webinars to this section. Learn what your property is worth in today's market. You identify your property here, a couple of the characteristics of it, and scroll down. Give us some contact information so I can reach out to you once I receive this. And this first choice here, you select it, which says contact me now for a free property value assessment. There's no cost, there's no obligation, just gives you an idea what your property is worth in today's market. And sometimes people are curious what they can do to their property to give it greater value. We cover that as well. Anyway, if that's of interest to you, simply click the green button. I will receive the notification. I'll contact you and we'll arrange a time to see your home and get you that information. So with that in mind, if you have any questions whatsoever, send me an email, ron@thewilsteinteam.com. If you'd like me to give you a phone call, include your phone number and the best time for me to give you a ring. And I want to quickly remind you, every single month we do a webinar. It's called Park City Market Talk. It's about 20 minutes long, and we give you a update on the Park City real estate market. We actually cover more details than I summarized at the beginning of this webinar, and then we tackle 2 or 3 important topics that are relevant to the Park City marketplace so that you're well informed about what's happening in real estate. Well, property taxes just came out, so I know we haven't recorded it yet, but the August webinar will talk about how you can appeal your property taxes if you think you've been assessed too high. So it always has good information. So I want to thank you for taking the time to participate in this webinar, and hope it's been valuable for you.